Welcome to Fauji Days. We are proud to have with us this evening Lt Gen KJ Singh, former Western Army commander, and as he fondly says, now a re-attired columnist for the Times of India since 2017. General's Jottings, as the popular column is called, has comprehensively covered India's national security for all these years and was made into a book called General's Jottings by the same name, which was launched last year. The first edition having sold out in its entirety, the new edition, which covers up to Operation Sindoor, has now been launched as General Jottings Rearmed. General Saab has also been a scholar warrior, having earned his PhD after his retirement and has anchored think tanks like the Gyan Setu and the Gyan Chakra. So welcome to the show, sir. Welcome to Fauji Days.
Thank you, Pankaj Ji. First of all, Jai Hind to all the viewers, and especially I'm grateful to my publisher, the browser, which helped me to reach out to readers. And I am doubly grateful to my readers for having liked the first book, and the fact that we are into a rearmed version of it is an indication that, and I've got a lot of feedback also on that. I only want to say that it's not only the columns, it's basically columns is a platform which has given me a kind of regularity in reflecting on issues of national security. But in this book, see, column is just 900 words. In this book, the basic framework is built on my larger articles, which I have written for think tanks, for publications like Clause Journal, for USI. So, because you have to deliberate on an issue and build it up. So that is the on which the structure is made. And when we were thinking of taking out a second edition, so my publisher Pankaj P, as he's always very contemporary, he came out with this idea that why not rework the whole thing. So this book has frankly eliminated some of the things from the previous book and brought in the more contemporary kind of discussion which has taken place, and also it takes care of the feedback which you all have provided me. So basic aim is to equip you to become citizen warriors or people who can analyze national security issues with certain amount of background knowledge and competence.
Very nice, sir. So, sir, like you said, we have brought the book up to date, up to all contemporary issues, and nothing is more recent than Operation Sindoor. And your book touches upon that extensively. So, how do you view the outcomes of Operation Sindoor in the context of a larger national security?
See, Operation Sindoor is a great operation. It's a path-breaking operation. It redefines the whole paradigm of exchanges between us and Pakistan. 47, 48, we fought a war. Then we fought another war in 65. Then we graduated to what is called limited war, which was in Kargil, just specific to that sector, and we did not cross the LOC. Line of control was not crossed. And then came a new phenomena which is called proxy war. Now, Pakistan has leveraged proxy war in combination with the fact that they arm themselves with nuclear weapons to build imaginary red lines and to continue to exploit this hybrid option and threaten us always that if we do anything conventional, they would resort to a nuclear option. In Kargil, they were told not to talk about nuclear weapons so irresponsibly. America had put that pressure on them. Then you would have yourself seen that we had, after the Uri terrorist attacks, we had surgical raids. And then after Pulwama, we had Balakot. So on both these occasions, Pakistan only did saber rattling, only said, we'll use the nuclear weapon, but they never could, and they are not allowed to. Now, in this case, we have taken the battle to the very heartland of Pakistan. Murid ke, right next to Lahore, and Bahawalpur in Punjab. See, targets in Balakot, before Balakot, in the Balakot operation, were though not in Pak occupied Kashmir, but they were in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in relatively remote part of that country. But this is heartland. So India has redefined the paradigms of exchange with Pakistan. Firstly, every terrorist activity, we have the right to respond. Secondly, when responding, there is no immunity for people who anchor or orchestrate these events.
So
And
would
the
you say
third-
that Operation Sindoor has strengthened our national security?
Not only strengthened, it is redefined the very paradigm,
Paradigm
of
of national
our
security.
a response to proxy war.
Right, sir.
Like we've said, that we have a right to response. We'll choose the response. Secondly, we will not grant immunity to people who orchestrate it.
Correct.
So, Murid ke LET headquarter, Bahawalpur, headquarters of Jaish, both were targeted.
Yes, sir.
And even the Hizbul's headquarter at Mehmoon Zoya, that was also targeted. So we have done that, and we've also called off the nuclear bluff. That will not be blackmailed by this nuclear thing. And PM Modi has also said that terror and talks cannot coexist.
Coexist.
Fodder and terror cannot go on.
But in that
concurrently.
context, sir, I have two follow-on questions. One is China played a very important role in Operation Sindoor, directly or indirectly. And your book talks about what you call as the 2.5 front threat. First, I'd like you to elaborate on what exactly this 2.5 front threat is. And then the follow-on that arises is how quickly has India taken a U-turn in diplomatic relations with China now that PM Modi is in China. You see the photo ops with President Xi, they are embracing each other, whereas we were just boycotting each other a few months back and they were very much involved in Sindoor. So how do you relate the 2.5 front war situation and what is now happening diplomatically with China?
See, each of these questions is it's a very interesting, very intelligent question. My readers, if you will read the first part of the book, you will have the toolkit to analyze such things. So I've given you a toolkit which I call as LED P square A square L. Please go through it and you would be able to decipher how to look at such complex problems. Now that he's bold, googly at me, let me try to get out of it. The first thing is, classically, we always thought of 2.5 fronts. 2.5 fronts means Pakistan has been a permanent irritant and China has been actually our primary adversary, which we had somehow after 62. And then we had a little exchange in 67 at Nathula and Somdrongchu. But we lulled ourselves into a belief that China will not launch an attack on us. China will not get into this. Now, these are two fronts, primary China and secondary, but permanently irritant Pakistan. The half front is the internal proxy war, internal fault lines, left-wing extremism. Now, there is Bangladesh also joining this bandwagon. So it is, but how will it articulate itself? It's a very interesting thing. And see, what I say is a hypothesis. There can be no uh, standard or a fixed solution. That's why you all must read the book, analyze, and supplement it with. See, one book, it's a primer. It'll give you a framework, but you have to build it up. You have to, and maybe if situation comes, there may be a follow up on this. So here now we are looking at these fronts. How do they articulate against us? This time, Pakistan came out with something very interesting, and that's given in the book. It is single front reinforced or single front fused. Fusion done by the Chinese technology, surveillance, and information, all intelligence provided by China, weapons of China, and like one of our serving vice chiefs said, that for China it was a lab, it was a laboratory. They could test these weapons, all of them. So friends, readers, we are looking at, every day we have to decipher how will this play out in front of us. And let me also now come to the second part, which is, have we done a U-turn? Now see, it's like this. There is a school of thought which believes that after a country sells weapons, then for us to keep saying that that country is against us may not be very correct. France has sold aircraft to us, has also sold to a number of Middle Eastern countries. So it's once a technology is sold or a weapon system is given, like Israel has many times helped us. It helped us during Kargil. It helped us during Balakot. So we can't sort of, it wouldn't be, it's okay to have that angst, to have that anger, but it's a reality.
But with China, it's beyond that. So it's not just about the sale of the weapon systems. We've had active LAC. We've had those Galwan-like incidents where we've lost troops to them. We've lost territory maybe to them. So it is more than just the weapon systems that
I don't
hinder us.
dispute that at all. But see, the reality is also that in dealing with China, we have
trade to
certain hard realities.
Yes, sir.
The first reality is we are both competing powers or, nations which are, and we are neighbors. We have active borders with China, so we can't wish them away. They have settled their land borders with, I think, 11 countries out of 13. And only India and Bhutan are left. Now, how do we look at this? Trade-wise, we cannot decouple from China. That's a very harsh reality.
That's true, sir.
China, we have an adverse balance of trade, which is touching $100 billion. So if that be so, we have to realize this, that $100 million, which is a challenge for us, because our APIs, electronics,
Everything
solar
is dependent
cells,
on.
batteries, all have to come
We are
from there.
dependent on them.
And when we try to be little, I'd say little more autonomous than what China wanted, so they stopped giving us tunnel boring machines, specialized fertilizers, and rare earth magnets, and suddenly our production lines froze. So we have to now learn to keep the trade in a separate basket.
To be very pragmatic and deal with
and
things.
Defense in another basket. We have to learn the art of what I call as C's, 3 C's. Cooperate where possible, like climate action and few other things where China and India are on the same page. Compete where feasible. If we can compete with them in few things, it is good. Not only on sports, hockey, but we have to compete in selling products. And most avoidable is confrontation. But sometimes when China crosses our red lines, we will be forced into some kind of confrontation. It has happened at Nathula in 67. It happened at Somdrungchu in 80s. It happened at Doklam. It also happened at Galwan.
Galwan.
The answer is develop your capabilities
Yes, sir.
and certain amount of quid pro quo options, QPQ,
Sure, sir.
quid pro quo options. It's given in this book, like Kailash, that you go and occupy preemptively Kailash Heights, what we did. And then China was forced to negotiate.
Sure.
So it's a complex mix of responses that we have to work out.
Pendulum keeps swinging from one side to the other side.
And see, diplomacy is art of making possible the impossible. But my caution in this book also I have written that we can't trust Chinese. We have to verify everything that takes place.
Right.
So that is important.
Sure, sir. So one of Pakistan's achievements has been that it has made itself indispensable to both US and China. So whether it's the geostrategic location of Pakistan or any other reason, but they have both the superpowers at their doorstep, always trying to woo them one way or the other. Under such recently you've seen Trump, step in, and in every war America has stepped in, whether it was 71, whether it was 99 Kargil, and now recently Trump has again taken all the credit for the ceasefire. So with almost a guaranteed American intervention whenever India and Pakistan fight, how do you see India ever prevailing upon Pakistan?
See, firstly, what Pakistan is doing is not new. If you go to 70s, when Kissinger and Nixon
Hanji.
struck a relationship with China,
Hanji.
the midwife was Pakistan. So Pakistan has got this, unlike India, they have always gone into camps, alliances. They joined CENTO.
Right.
They was called Baghdad Pact
Right.
in 60s and 70s.
Right.
They also joined SEATO,
Right.
which was a Southeast Asian version of NATO.
Correct.
They joined that also.
Correct.
So they have this. It's firstly the geography, which you rightly flagged. They have been placed at confluence of civilizations,
Correct, sir.
where the Cynic Chinese, the
Everybody wants
Russian, and the Persian and the Indian, all civilizations there's a confluence.
there.
Also, they have baked them. They are very compliant, pliable, ready to do somebody's bidding.
Adapt to anybody's need.
Yeah. We, on the contrary, are described as people who would always argue,
Right.
like argumentative Indian.
Right.
So we like to rationalize.
Right.
We like to, even if we are doing something, we like to give it a cloak of,
Because we are a messy democracy, they are a dictatorship. They can take these calls at their the whim.
It is, but your question was really, how would we overcome
Ever prevail upon them because of the superpower
So that is
interests.
a very strategic kind of a exercise. Like pausing of Sindoor, why was it done? Because we realize that we can't get embroiled with this country. This suits them. They want us to get embroiled. There is this Hindi song, "Hum to doobe hai sanam, tumko bhi le doobenge." So they want us like.
In fact, that was my follow-on question to you. That every time Pakistan has internal troubles, they like to foment trouble in India and go to war.
Yeah.
And every time we see the army strengthened in Pakistan, whenever the war concludes, whether it was Kargil earlier, later, the army comes out stronger. And now, as Munir has crowned himself as Field Marshal, and we have seen how it has played out. So is India kind of what shall I say, use as per need kind of a scenario where Pakistan uses India to its advantage rather than the other way around by provoking these wars?
I hope it doesn't happen, because see, after Balakot, there was this gap, and now there are no targets being addressed by terrorists in hinterland.
Right.
So there have been certain amount of
So some
what should
pressure
I
is being
say,
exerted on
improvements
Pakistan
or,
to
this way. So here also, after Balakot, there was a gap. This happened. Probably they were very desperate. They wanted to test a resolve. Now, I hope this lesson goes home
deeper.
to them and they do not.
But the
mess
question
with-
arises, sir, you just mentioned it a little while back, that after Kargil, India was completely convinced that in the conventional domain, we will always have a limited war with Pakistan because the nuclear overhang will remain. Sooner or later, the superpowers will step in to stop anything, and therefore the war will always be a limited war of that nature. But do you think in Operation Sindoor, we were at a point where this could have escalated into a full-fledged war, or were we never there?
I don't think we were there because I'm not disclosing anything as such which is confidential. What I've read in media and all is, and it's been said in official briefings, our ground forces were not even mobilized.
Right,
We did not mobilize them.
right,
I think we knew very clearly in our mind that what we want to address and for how long.
right.
And I must also caution our readers, there is this lobby which puts pressure on the government that take revenge now. Why not liberate POK? Why not capture Aksai? Firstly, don't put pressure on your government or on your national security management architecture because they know when to do it and they're not going to share with us. Surprise is a crucial element of that. Secondly, everything is a function of your national priorities. Unlike Bhutto, who said we'll eat grass to make nuclear weapon, I don't think Indian polity or politicians, you may curse them. I also don't like some of them or some things that they do. But that doesn't mean that our politicians can ever come to that level that they'll put us in a war like what is going on in Ukraine or what is happening in Gaza even. So our responses will remain mature, calibrated,
Measured response.
and that's the way to look forward. So to my readers, be responsible citizen warriors, Nagrik Yodhas.
In fact, this is my next question to you.
Yeah.
Sir. Your book talks about the whole of nation approach for national security, and you talk about citizen warriors and Nagrik Yodha. Would you elaborate on what this concept is?
See, couple of years back before COVID, I was taking a lecture on elements of national security. And the last point on that slide, the bullet point was pandemic. So they all sniggered. The very next year there was COVID. So suddenly there was a realization that there is something called as health Yodha. Then the families abandoned their dead and suddenly we had sanitation Yodhas. The people who would go and cremate or bury those people. So you would have heard of a very great good Samaritan Shanti ji, what he did for people who had died to give them some respect to their last remains, their mortal remains. So suddenly there is this realization that national security is a function of comprehensive national power. It doesn't rest at only defense forces. It's got, and today with technology, two students of BITS Pilani making drones and they're being used in Op Sindoor. So they are better warriors. They are better than many of people like me. So I take it this way that all of us have a role to play. First thing is we have to be Jagruk Hindustan. People who are aware, who understand the subject, read my book, read other books also, which give you that kind of an idea. Secondly, please logically analyze what needs to be done. And most importantly, please do your fundamental duties. If you all, everyone doesn't have to become a soldier. No, it's not required. Do you know Abdul Kalam tried to join Air Force twice? He was rejected. I say thank God. Because that happened, we got our missiles. We got our technology. So all of you in your own fields, try and become experts. If you're a computer person, become expert in that. If you're a technology person, become an expert in that. And if you give a boost to our economy, we have higher GDP, so we can spend more on our defense. So all in all, when you are reading my book, my message to you is welcome to Citizen Warriors Club. You are now Nagrik Yodha. Please read it carefully and become more responsible Indians. That's the message I want to leave with you.
Excellent, excellent. So everyone agrees that Operation Sindoor changed the paradigm of war in many ways. The most important one being that it was a beyond visual range battle with missiles and aircrafts, and no one crossed the line of control. Like you rightly mentioned, even the boots on the ground were not mobilized. And in this paradigm, it has raised fresh questions on the idea of theaterisation, which has been with the army and the military for a long while now. Debates happening on all sides, but it was very close to being implemented. Now the air chief has very recently said that we should go slow on it because future battles will be essentially air battles, in his opinion. And therefore the Air Force has to be one force and theaterisation is not really a requirement. And the next day the Navy chief had a different view and then the CDS had a different view. So what is your thought on theaterisation given how Sindoor has played out in that background?
Firstly, before I lose the one thing which came to my mind, when you read these books about this Operation Sindoor and all, Pankaj has written a very good book on air defense.
Kind of you, sir.
Try and read it. It'll give you a very good idea because in this operation, air defense has emerged as a very, very important critical parameter. And in future wars, air defense will play a very important role. You've heard PM Modi saying Sudarshan Chakra, the missile shield that India is trying to. It was being developed when I was in armed forces about 8 years back. So read Pankaj's book on air defense. It's a great book.
Thanks, sir.
Now let me come back to theaterisation. See, I believe an operation which was only 88 hours long, effective exchange or deciding exchange was 22 minutes, should not upset our journey of building our national security architecture. After Kargil, we carried out a proper review, proper study. We committed ourselves to theaterisation. We raised Andaman Nicobar Command. We also raised a Special Forces Command,
Correct, sir.
functional command. These were joint commands.
Right.
They were pilot projects.
Okay.
So now this pilot has been studied. Is there an evidence to say that it has failed? I don't think so. I don't think so. So Air Force has always wanted to do it in a standalone because their nature of employment is such that it's a function of target list, deciding the payload, delivering it, and it's more like a surgical kind of thing that I will do it this way and get up.
I think the biggest concern seems to be the limited amount of assets at their disposal. They seem to think that with just 32 squadrons, if this is split into various theatres, then it reduces the effectiveness of their fighting edge.
See, this is where also I differ with Air Force. They are so stuck on fighter squadrons and counting of these 32. Firstly, each Rafale squadron is equal to 4 to 5 MiG squads in terms of capabilities.
Capabilities, 4.5 generation fighters.
Why is nation so concerned about how many Rafales have gone? We were not so concerned about MiGs because each platform costs so much, delivers so much. So firstly, getting stuck to 42 and these numbers may not be very pragmatic. The second thing is, today the platform mix is changed. You have drones.
Yes, sir.
You have air defense.
That's right.
What you have written about.
BrahMos.
You have UAV systems. You have BrahMos. You have other missiles coming up. So, for us to think that we, in any case, let me give you an example. When we started Strategic Forces Command, did we have resources?
Right.
We had only one vector, aerial vector on Jaguar to deliver the nuclear weapon.
Right.
Today we have how many?
That's right.
So when you form such a command, empower it, give it capability, the resources will develop around.
So the long-term direction should be maintained.
So maintain. I feel it should not be given up.
shouldn't.
And my caution is that Sindoor was damn good, very good operation. Hats off to people who did it. But in this delusional kind of self-congratulatory mode, let's not go astray from our path of consolidation, and also do a honest introspection. See what were our problems, address them, and maintain. If we keep changing our course like this, I don't think it's fair.
Right.
It's
The other big announcement that has come from the government, sir, has been the overhaul of the Agnipath scheme. Long overdue, do you think? Was it really?
I'm told there are hopeful signs. The government also feels that you can't suddenly allow so many people to exit who have developed some kind of capability. So I'm told that government is deliberating to retain 50, or there is even a thought that in Air Force and Navy retain 75%.
Right.
That kind of thought is there.
Right.
The second thing is also being spoken of is that give them a tenure of service, say about 7, 8, 9 years. Various options are being looked at, and then have another screening. Because see, what happens is I have interacted with a lot of serving commanding officers. I went to speak to senior command course in Army War College, and I tried to play the red leg. Because being from the old school of thought, I thought Agniveer or Agnipath, I've written against it. But here was my chance to ask this new generation. And when they're not under pressure, it was over cocktails I was asking. I get a feeling that the new generation of COs are not very unhappy with Agnipath or Agniveer scheme. It has built in certain amount of accountability among soldiers. Previously, a soldier had the luxury of, after 7, 8 years, become a disinterested soldier also. He could build a disability, lower backache, and continue.
So now there's pressure to perform.
Yeah, so there is a pressure to perform. So if the scheme is, there are issues, and let's not, me sitting outside, I can only speculate on few things. Let's ask the commanding officers. Now that we have gone into this scheme, maybe we can refine it and make it more
effective in terms. Lastly, sir, you have actively founded and helmed many think tanks, Gyan Chakra, Gyan Setu, many others. You participate in so many claws, etc. How do you see the role of think tanks as they have evolved in our country? Are they really contributing something to the idea of national security in real terms? And especially in context of Sindoor, was there any contribution from the think tanks? Did they play a role in maybe post or pre-Sindoor, howsoever you would like to?
Traditionally, India was a late starter on this think tank mission, because we heard of Chatham House and these kind of think tanks which are based abroad. When they came up, they got concentrated in Delhi, which is natural because there you have access to headquarters and you can have latest information and all. So there are think tanks which are extensively used by the government. There is captive think tank called China with MEA. There are think tanks with ministries, and then service headquarters have set up their think tanks, like Army's got claws, Air Force has got CAPS, Navy's got Maritime Foundation, and there is CDS has set up CENJOS. So they are all available. Then there is USI, which is even older than these. And then you have Vivekanand Foundation, Observer Research Foundation, Now Adani set up Chanakya or something, and there are so many of these think tanks. The question is, are all of them or are many of them doing the right thing? Well, there are no clear answers. Some of it is only narrative building. But luckily, what has also happened is think tanks have proliferated in regional domains also. So in Chandigarh, we have Gyan Chakra, Gyan Setu. Now a new one is being set up, Chandigarh Citizens Foundation.
OICC.
That is being set up.
OICC.
So how do we look at it? I am steering a focus group on national security in that. So now such kind of thing, firstly, we have a regional context. How does national security apply to northern region? Punjab is a border state. And then there are challenges of terrorism, drugs, and water now. So all these, how does it apply to this region? That's one context. The second is, we also are supposed to demystify national security, simplify it, and share it with the common citizen, with the students. Students of defense studies, students who are studying economics, geography, and so many disciplines which are connected with, and technology even. Cyber security is one such field also. So we look at think tanks doing both these roles. If I was to have a final word on that, I would say miles to go before we sleep.
Right.
The lots with think tanks still have to
do. Right. Thank you for the wonderful answer, sir. And now we have a set of rapid fire questions for you, which you can answer either in one word or one line. So can we begin?
Yeah, please.
The military leader or soldier you admire the most?
Sagat Singh.
The military school, course or institution that best ingrains our military culture?
Junior command.
Right. The military that you admire the most apart from the Indian military?
American Army with some corrections is a good role model.
Good role model.
Some correctives have to be applied.
Yeah, I understand that aspect, sir. Your favorite personal weapon?
AK-47.
It seems to be a majority answer on our interviews. Your favorite food?
Favorite food? That's a tough one. Favorite food is bajre ki roti and sarson ka saag.
That's a unique choice. Your fondest or most challenging tenure while in service?
Abroad, I did a tenure in Angola. That is, I have great it was very challenging for me.
Right, sir.
And in India, it is when I was in Nagaland.
Okay. Your favorite war movie?
A Bridge Too Far.
That's a great movie. Your favorite military writer or book? Either writer or book.
I remember that book very much. What generals are made of.
Yeah, that's an excellent book.
I remember that book.
Your favorite sport?
Favorite sport is basketball.
Great. And the last question, what is the best thing about our armed forces?
Best thing is soldiers. Our soldiers are so good that we have this naam, namak, nishan, but everything is built around those soldiers.
Right.
They are so ready to be led by good leaders.
Correct, sir.
You have to be a good leader.
And that has been proven again and again, whether it was on the heights of Kargil or Sindoor, of course, had a different paradigm. So maybe the soldiers were not in the forefront, but yes, you're right about that, sir. So it was a pleasure hosting you here on Fauji Days, sir. And we are proud to have published this very comprehensive and lovely book on national security. And like you said, all our readers should read it to understand the ideas that you have put there, those of Nagrik Yodha, Jagruk Hindustani, and how we should approach our national security issues at all. So if you would like to order a signed copy of the book by General KJ, please go to faujidays.com and place your order. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai.